whatever you need, and I will help you. It was a lot of just like, I'm terrified. I'm going to lose my wife.
I gotta do this for 55 days. It can start to really extend those things, like
Yeah.
hit those milestones.
2.5 years ago, who would never get off the couch is now looking to dream big and run a marathon.
What was the biggest lesson that you learned from Amanda's battle with cancer? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. This episode of Get In is brought to you by Indie Grills and Outdoor Living, the team that turns boring backyards into hangout heaven. They design and build custom patios, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces made for real life, from quiet family nights to hosting the whole neighborhood. Winter's the perfect time to start planning your dream outdoor space because Indie Grill's spring 2026 schedule is already filling up. If you want your new patio, kitchen, or fireplace ready when the weather warms up, now's the time to get in line. They're local Hoosiers, not a national chain. Just people who care about great design, quality work, and helping you love being outside again. Visit indiegrills.com and lock in your spot for the spring. My guest today is Alex Baker. He is a Brownsburg, Indiana-based marathoner and cancer awareness fundraiser. In February 2019, Alex lost his wife, Amanda, to late-stage colorectal cancer. In the years since, he's built Ketchup to Cancer. This helps channel his running into fundraising for institutions such as the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. He has already raised tens of thousands of dollars to help families impacted by cancer. Today, we're going to be talking about Amanda's journey and battle with cancer that led you to starting this movement, Ketchup to Cancer. We're going to talk about what you've done so far and your big plans for 2026, what's coming down the pipe, what we can expect this year, and another major marathon coming up in just a few months. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me in.
Yeah.
I know we've connected, through some threads, but it's good to be here.
So for the avid listeners that listen to every single episode, you will remember our episode with Stephanie from Send a Friend Lasagna. And on the episode, she talked about what started her business was someone in her life that she had known was grieving and that she did the only thing she knew how to do. And she made lasagna and dropped it off to this person. And that person was you.
Yeah. Pretty
so
amazing.
this is a full circle, I don't know, that was probably 50 or 60 episodes ago. And then you also know Allie Brettnacher. So the running communities are all coming together here. I'm really excited to dive into the story. It's going to be an emotional roller coaster. I'm already prepared for it. And I want to start with how you and your wife Amanda met.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we both went to IUPUI, the OG name.
Go Jags.
Go Jags. We were in Greek life. I was a fraternity man. She was a sorority woman. She was the president of the Student Activities Planning Board, which is like the big group that puts on all the events on campus. And being good fraternity men, we showed up to lift heavy things and, set up for the event. And we crossed paths. And
What year?
this was 2005,
What
probably.
year of college?
Sophomore year of college.
Sophomore year,
Yeah,
baby. Okay,
yeah.
and from there, sparks?
No.
Oh.
We crossed paths, and I was just like, this person is very interesting. I kind of like her. Okay.
Yeah.
We were both in relationships at the time, and just, so we kind of passed by each other for about 2 years.
Okay.
And then I got out of a long-term relationship. She happened to be single, and she sent me an AOL Instant Messenger.
Whoa, she sent it first?
Yeah, and
Hey.
it was like, hey, happy birthday. Yeah, so it was my birthday, and so I invited her to come out and hang out downtown with us, and she did. And a few weeks later, we went to the Vogue, a Broad Ripple staple, Retro Rewind, and I let her cut me in line. And she said that was the day.
And they say chivalry's dead. Yes.
That was the moment. And from there, just a wild journey. We started dating, got engaged about a year later, got married a year after that. We're now talking January 2009 and off to the races.
Yeah. And you guys started to build your lives together.
Yeah.
Incredible, man. Yeah. The old fashioned way, AOL Instant Messenger,
yes.
baby. Let's go. I love that. So things progress, and you
Yep.
guys are, building your here in Central Indiana.
Yep. Yeah. We lived in Greenwood at the time, or Southport technically at the time, and then eventually moved out to Brownsburg. We've been there since late 2009.
Okay, gotcha. So move out to Brownsburg, and then was it around 2015, 2016? You guys had a child.
Yes. Yeah. So we actually struggled with infertility for like 3 years and went through just a wild ride of, every month over and over trying and being disappointed. And we were able to eventually, through something called IUI, we were able to have our son.
Did that struggle for 3 years bring you guys closer together? Because I also could see how on other sides, like that could be hard and challenging for a couple.
Yeah, it is something that you always get surprised by. Like you think this is going to be the thing. This is going to be the thing as a couple you have to go through, right? And I think for us, it did bring us closer together, but it was a challenge we had to face together. Like the disappointment month after month, the doctor's appointments, all of the things of just being in a tough spot. Like nobody thinks they're ever going to go through fertility problems,
People deal with that, but we're not people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you're just like, well, what's wrong? Am I broken? Is there something? But in reality, like a lot of couples go through this, and not a lot of people actually talk about the real struggles and the cost and the impact to the relationships. And so, that I think, to answer your question, I think it did bring us together, but it was a roller coaster of a journey.
Yeah. But it has a great ending there.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
You guys, so your son today is 11?
11. Yep.
Wow. So what, that would have been 2015, 2016?
He was born in 2014, Thanksgiving time.
Obviously 3 years, struggle, but it has a blessing there.
Yep.
Then things keep progressing. And I mean, it seems as though your guys' life is, you're out on the west side, you're in Brownsburg, you got a kid, all peachy, right?
Everything's great.
Yeah. Talk to me about your wife, Amanda's diagnosis of cancer.
Yeah. So we were completely blindsided by this.
Yeah.
We had no idea. So she had reconnected with some of her high school friends. They were doing a meetup in either Nashville, Tennessee or Chicago. I don't remember which one, but they doing a girls trip, and obviously those are driving distance from Indianapolis. So they drove, and on her way back, she was just in a lot of pain and she didn't understand why. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, I get it. Let's get you home, see how you are. And after seeing her, like, I knew we need to go to the hospital. This is not okay. This is not just, I'm hungover, I've had too much fun, right? This is like serious pain.
Yeah. Like the hurt or you're injured.
Yes.
Okay. So do you guys go immediately to the hospital?
We do. We drop our son off at grandma's house, great grandma's for him. And we head out to the hospital, and this is 9:00 at night probably. And we eventually get in, see a doctor, and they're like, well, it could be a blockage, could be, I don't know, we'll just do an x-ray, just in case.
Yeah.
And so we do an x-ray. We're just sitting there like, okay, come on, get this done. We can just go home. Like, this is probably, you're just constipated, right? Like something like that. And the doctor comes back in and says, something was weird on the x-ray. We would like to do a CT scan. And so we're like, okay, sure, whatever. Let's do the CT scan. It's 1:00 in the morning. We're just like waiting and waiting and waiting. What's going on?
Yeah.
I have a flight for work at like 6 a.m. the next day. Like, I want to get home so I can finish packing, and like, I want to be out of this hospital. And the doctor comes in, and 2:30 sits down and says, essentially, I don't know how to say this, but you have cancer and it is really bad. You need to see an oncologist in the next 48 hours. Here's a referral. Go home. And that was out of body experience for me. Like I remember tunnel vision, like looking at myself from the back of my head, like what? And he shares that she has cancer in her colon, in her lymph nodes, and in her liver. So
Yeah.
it's pretty metastasized at this point. Obviously, I know nothing about cancer. I know it exists. I know it's a horrendous thing. At this point, I know nothing.
I feel like the first time that it's like directly impacted to you, that like hits differently.
Yeah.
And then they tell you just go home. Like, what the?
Yep.
That's the crazy part.
Yeah. Well, and I get it. Like there was literally nothing they could do at that moment. Yeah. So like I do understand, and I tell the story a little flippantly now of just like go home. But in that moment, I don't think it felt like that. But looking back, it was just like I can't help you.
Yeah.
You know?
And we just had the outgoing CEO of Community on the pod not too long ago, and he talks about like from a national perspective though, getting seen by a specialist in 48 hours is actually really good.
Yes.
But it's just like it's a really long 48 hours when you're the family that's had the diagnosis. Yeah. So you guys go home.
Yeah. Before we go home, we get to the car. And Amanda looks at me, and I think this was just a good indication of how the rest of the journey went. Is she gets in the car and says, "Really? I have ass cancer. Of all the cancers I could get, I have ass cancer. I couldn't even get a cool cancer."
I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm not.
I thought I tell it because that was a funny way to look at it. Like this horrendous thing. We thought infertility was going to be our thing, right? And now this horrendous thing has just punched us in the face.
Yeah. But I do think, especially with cancer, so I'll give you, my mom passed away from cancer in 2017.
Okay.
And I remember being in the room when the doctor pulled me out in the hallway and said that it had metastasized to her brain and that this was going to be the thing that does her in. And it is, to this day, the most humbling. Is that the right word? Like the conversation just like makes you feel so small.
Yes.
And it just opens a whirlwind of emotions. Kudos to Amanda for being able to like, that would just like, that's exactly what I feel like a lot of people like the attitude.
Yep.
Because it's like it's a shitty situation, right? And a lot of times people's attitude dictate how the battle's gonna go, how the journey's gonna go. People that come in there with a really good attitude like can extend that longer. And it's the medical, I don't know what the science says, but there's something to do with positive attitude that helps, longevity there. So
Agreed.
You get in the car.
Yeah. She has ass cancer.
Yeah.
And then we go home, and she goes to use the bathroom, shower, whatever she was doing. And I look at my phone and Google colorectal cancer, and that was a mistake.
Bad idea.
But
they all say not to do it, and you're like, no, I could do it. And then you get it, and it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
The survival rate is like 15% for over 5 years. So I knew this is going to be...
What year is this when she's diagnosed?
She was diagnosed in 2017. She's 34 years old.
She's 34, and you have a 3-year-old?
3-year-old, yep.
And this is diagnosed in 2017?
Yes.
What time of year?
It was October 16th.
October 16th.
Our son would have turned 3 on Thanksgiving, so we were planning to take him to Disney World, like do all the fun things. And,
okay, so you Google this.
Yes.
5 years is 15%.
I put my phone away and tried to sleep. At 8 a.m. when the doctor's office opened, I called first thing. Oh, yeah, we got your referral. Doctor will call you back.
You mother.
Yep. 11 a.m. We were told we needed to see somebody. Like 48 hours. Yep. We've passed it on to the doctor. We'll call you back. Okay. 2 p.m. We'll call you back. So then I start panicking. I don't know if that's the right word, but I I start calling everybody who can get us in. We need to see somebody today. And luckily, one of the local hospitals here, the receptionist answered, and she puts me on hold and says, let me go talk to the doctor. And the doctor moved their schedule around to see us at 4 p.m. that day. So we go in, and he's a little jovial about it, right? Like, oh, we'll fix you, no big deal. Like, we've got this. We'll do 10 treatments.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. So that was like the next goal was 10 treatments. And then over the next 2 weeks, it was insanity. CT scan, another confirmation CT scan, a PET scan, which is like a full body scan. She has a colonoscopy to confirm again. She has a PET scan or a port rather installed where they can basically direct access for chemo. And she starts her first chemo regimen 2 weeks after diagnosis. So on Halloween.
And does that feel, for you guys in the moment, does that feel quick or long?
I think now it feels quick, but it was like a new thing every day.
Yeah.
Like we were just going to the hospital every day for a new something. So they really moved, it feels like moved mountains to get her in.
I feel like sometimes when you're in the battle, it can feel like it's not going quick enough.
Yeah.
And then you look back and you're like, holy smokes, in 2 weeks, we did all of that.
Halloween is the day of her first chemo.
Okay.
So my son and I go do trick-or-treating. She has something called a pump where basically she does treatment in the hospital and then gets a slow dose of treatment for the next 2 days. And so that round of treatment, it's 6 to 8 hours in the hospital on Tuesday. And then you come back they disconnect the pump on Thursday. And by Saturday, she's sleeping basically all day.
For people that might not know, when you are going through intense chemotherapy, like describe being, having a front row seat to watching that.
One of those things that you don't realize how much it takes out of you and you never get to fully recover. So, I've described it to a friend, like after the first chemo in her recovery time, like that 2 week period, she was only at 98%. And then the next time she was at 94%. And then the next time 89%, right? And it just, your body never gets to fully recover. And you never know when something is going to happen. So you are always on edge. There was one time our son came down with the flu, and so we had to go to the hospital and get her a flu shot and have her be monitored for a day just to make sure she didn't also have the flu.
Yeah.
There's just so much of it. The nice thing is it becomes routine. You're doing this every 2 weeks over and over, and this is the cycle. But then you do a kind of check-in scan kind of through the treatment, and it didn't work. The cancer is still growing, or the cancer is unchanged. So then you got to change regimens. You got to change the cycle. You got to change the side effects.
How often or how quick after the first, how many treatments did she have to do before they did more scans?
I think it was after 4 rounds.
So was that 4 weeks?
Or was 8 weeks?
8 weeks.
Because it was like a 2 week cycle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're into your son's birthday.
Yeah, Christmas.
How is her morale after first round?
Good. I think she felt strong. She felt, I'm going to beat this thing. Yeah. There was never during her whole journey this is the thing that's going to get me.
Yeah.
She also never wanted to know how bad it was, which I understand. And it was hard knowing, because I had to have those conversations with the doctor, but she never wanted to know.
I think that I like that.
Yeah.
I think it's hard. I remember my mom also did not want to know, she would maybe hear about different, but never wanted to know timelines or don't tell me. Some people are tell me how long I have. And other people are like, hey, I just want to we just find a new milestone, it's make it through this round or make it to Christmas or Easter or whatever the thing might be. Yep. And I think it's those little wins that can keep the spirits high.
Yeah, agreed. She, I don't know if you're a fan of Harry Potter,
Oh,
but
love Harry Potter.
okay, cool. So she had some amazing friends that created Amanda's army, instead of Dumbledore's army.
Yes.
Yeah. And so they would surprise her on days where she was feeling down with cards or FaceTime calls, or people, like the outpouring of support and love that she and we had was outstanding. It is the only way to describe it.
How old's your son at this point?
Yeah. He turned 4 about 2 months before she passed.
He doesn't really understand. No.
Mom's sick. Mom's tired.
Yeah.
And it was a bunch of little changes, right? Like instead of watching TV on the couch, we'd watch TV in the bed where mom was. We would nighttime routine is we would go read in her bed, right? Our bed, and not in his bed or in his chair. So he just understood mommy was sick.
Yeah.
But had no idea how bad it was.
How are you doing at this point?
Surviving is probably,
Like what, you're 34, 35?
Yeah, 33. I'm 2 years younger than her.
Okay.
So yeah. But early 30s, young kid. The hard part is from the day she was diagnosed, I went from like secondary parent. I'm not doing all the drop-offs. I'm not making sure, like, I'm just, because she worked in town, I did not in Brownsburg. And so, but the day she was diagnosed, I'm primary parent, I'm primary caregiver, I'm doing all of the things, right?
Yeah.
And so I was thankful. My job was very understanding and just, you give us what you can give us. If that's 2 hours today, awesome. If that's 8 hours this week, fine. Like and her work was also the same, which was fantastic. And so, I like to describe it now that I was just moving forward.
Yeah.
Like I was just whatever the next thing is, the next hurdle, the next place my son needed to be, the next time I needed to take her to the hospital, whatever, like do the one thing that's in front of you and stop worrying about the 19 things that are piling up.
Are any of the treatment plans working?
No, not. There was one cycle. She did 16 months. There was one cycle that the cancer didn't, like it shrunk 1% or something. Like it was minimal, nothing. She ultimately went through 5 different treatment regimens.
What were the doctors saying?
It was very metastasized basically. Yeah. And, like each regimen, they obviously give you the highest percentage of success as your first regimen. And so as you work down the line, they're less successful. And at one point, I think this is April 2018, the first doctor is like, I'm out of options. I don't have anything else here that I can do for you. And so I start panicking and I called 25 cancer centers across the country and basically said, help. Yeah. I'll send you anything you need. I don't know what I'm doing. Our doctor said, I don't know what to do with you anymore. I'm sorry. Like, I don't have a treatment for you. You need to go look at clinical trials. You need to go somewhere else. And so I amazingly got connected with someone at Johns Hopkins. I had a fraternity brother that was on our international board at the time that got us a referral into MD Anderson, which is the #1 cancer hospital in the country.
Yeah. Out of Houston, right?
Yeah, out of Houston.
Yeah.
We also, we were going to go to New York for just kind of a break from cancer. And we ended up getting an appointment at Memorial Sloan Kettering. Like, I went everywhere, Nate.
Yeah.
I just help.
And how were you figuring out or learning what to do in this situation?
I asked help a lot.
Yeah.
Just, I don't understand. Can you help me? That Johns Hopkins person I mentioned, they're in the clinical trial area. And they said, I don't have any clinical trials to get you on, but you send me any questions you have. You send me every scan. You send me whatever you need, and I will help you.
When you reached out to people, what did that message look like?
It was a lot of just like, I'm terrified.
Yeah.
How I'm going to lose my wife.
Yeah. How do you put that into words too? Like it's almost like a sales email. Like not to
Right.
like put this in a different, but you're like, hey, so you need them to read the message. You need them to read this email and to like know that you're a real person.
Ultimately ended up at Simon. We talked to several cancer centers. We got referrals, and basically most of them said Simon is where you should go. Simon is fantastic. MD Anderson said, we want you to come back. We want to try to get you on a clinical trial, but we will coordinate all of that stuff with Simon.
Nice.
Yeah. And so we made the switch in April.
From where?
We were at Methodist originally.
Yeah.
And then went over to Simon. And we found the most fantastic human being, the most fantastic doctor, and his primary nurse. They cared, they were, here's our cell phones, here's our email. I'm available at any time, whatever you need. And so 1:00 in the morning, dropping an email. She's having this. What about that? We're concerned about this. 15 minutes later, here's a response. Like, these human beings were just the best people and so we were wildly happy with our experience at Simon, the care center, the team.
What goes into rating an experience with an oncologist?
It's bedside manner in some way. Like, Dr. Helft, genuinely cared about Amanda. Yeah. Genuinely cared about her well-being, whether, like, he was completely comfortable with being honest with us and raw and explaining anything we wanted explained. He would take the time with us in the treatment rooms, right? Like, that mattered.
I think that's the true art of being a healthcare provider. And that's, I think, what can change the ones that are really good at research. And like the person who's going to cure cancer is probably not, I don't know, I don't want to generalize, but like might not be the same person that you'd want to treat your cancer.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Because sometimes it feels like you're in those conversations and they might be talking, they're just so smart.
Yes.
And that you need them to like slow down and realize that like though they might have said this or done this treatment plan 100 times, like this is your first time.
Yeah.
Some of the best providers create the space for people to really ask questions and to really understand what's going on.
I became an expert in Amanda's cancer. Being able to understand, read medical reports, like all of that stuff came because I could have that candid conversation with the doctor. Like, hey, I read this in this thing. What does it mean her gallbladder is not noteworthy? Well, it just means there was nothing interesting about it. Like, it looks normal. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
That's good.
That's good. Right. But, you don't, in medical terms, like all of that stuff is just way over my head. I'm a computer science guy, graphic design guy. Like, I have no medical background at all. And so being able to ask those questions to your point is helpful.
So you guys end up switching over to Simon.
Yep.
Do you know what time, like in the journey this was? Like month?
This is like April of 2018. There are two kind of main regimens. You do one and then the other. And if those don't work, you kind of work your way down, right? And so it was very similar, once every 2 weeks. And then they started thinking about just holistically, like, how can we make her feel better? Yeah. And one of the doctors consulted with a radiologist, and they said, well, maybe we can do some radiology on the primary tumor to give her some relief. And then somebody else came in and was like, well, I can drill a hole through the tumor. So her colorectal cancer was like at the end of the pipe. So she was like constipated all of the time because she just couldn't get anything out. And so she then stopped eating because she was just so full all of the time. Yeah. And you're taking pain meds, and so you get more backed up, and it just problem after problem, right? And so
and you think about like just gut health in general, like it's crazy how big like the gut just affects like total well-being and like all that. So So
we went up to somewhere in Carmel. I don't remember exactly where, but and they literally drilled a hole through the tumor, and she was relieved for the first time in, almost a year, that she was able to like have a sizable relief.
Yeah.
And like that changed everything, because then she could start eating again. Then she could start this and that, and it was a little easier to move, and it was a little easier this. And so to your earlier question too, about how overall care, like you're starting to think about the life of the person, not just treating the disease. What is their quality of life? What is the way that we can make sure that she's here as long as she can be? Her goal was to see our son go to kindergarten, right? Like that's a momentous occasion.
Yeah.
Obviously she did not make it that long, but like that was the fight.
Yeah.
Was to get to that point.
Yeah. Those milestones are so important. My mom's was to see me graduate from college.
Yeah.
And she was diagnosed my sophomore year. And so we were like, she was like re-diagnosed with lung cancer. So I ended up transferring home to get my associate's degree.
Okay.
So that I was like, make it till May. And she made it till April.
Oh.
But it was like every month, it was like, we're there. Like, we're getting closer. Like, here's the report. Like, grades are looking good. Got all A's. Like, let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling. And it just like shrinks the fight.
Yep.
Because like living to like normal life expectancy, 87 years or whatever, like that's so big. Like, like to get someone to wrap their head around, like, I got to do this for 60 years, 55 years. That's a long time.
Long time.
But like, I got to do this for 55 days. Yep. I got to do this for the next 55 days. And then, 60 days, 90 days after, it can start to really extend those things, like hit those milestones. 2019 comes. And, treatments are just not working the way I'm sure that everyone had hoped they were.
Yeah.
Where did the moment when you guys started really looking at like holistic quality of life and what options look like to make the most out of the time that you guys are promised?
Like I mentioned at Simon, they really cared about the whole process, the whole quality of life. And so our doctor suggested, like, if you are exhausted by this, let's take a break. Let's take one round. Let's push it out, and you guys go on a family vacation. And so we took our son to Disney finally, which was magical as you can imagine.
The happiest place on earth.
That's right. And so it was those kind of little things. And around Thanksgiving in 2018, she was given the lowest effective chemo regimen. It was 10% effective, so nothing basically.
Yeah.
And at that point, we were also at MD Anderson. They got us on a clinical trial, which was fantastic. We show up and her blood counts are too low, so we have to fly back home. And so our doctor gives us a blood transfusion, and then we get to try again. 2 weeks later, we get to come back. And at this point, this doctor has a sidebar conversation with me because, again, Amanda doesn't want to know. And I'm asking, like, hey, man, we're going to be flying to Houston every 2 weeks. Level with me. Is this the right idea? And he said, honestly, I could give you this drug here. I don't think it's going to do anything. And you are going to wear her out so much just traveling every 2 weeks for treatment. And I don't think it's a good use of time. Like, you have a limited amount of time and it's coming. Yeah. So, So
you get that sidebar conversation. I want to dive into this a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
She doesn't want to know. Mm-hmm. That's a very, like, is she relying, and are you making these decisions? Like, you get that sidebar conversation, and is it like Alex, I trust you and what you think is best, or we're going to talk about this together, or like, and how is your guys' relationship growing and changing, and like how you were talking about Okay, we'll start there.
Yeah.
We'll start there with those conversations.
yeah.
And we're going to dive into this a little bit.
Yeah. She trusted our oncologist. And if that was the recommendation that he has, that's what we're going to do. And so I have this sidebar conversation with him, and she is not on chemo at this point. This is very early January of 2019. And we're like, we're going to Houston. We're going to Houston. We're going to Houston. Awesome. And she ends up in the hospital. She's just in excruciating pain. And we're supposed to leave to go to Houston that Monday. And she is in the hospital from Friday till Monday morning. And so luckily I didn't have to have that conversation, that decision with her of like, we should not go. But, you know, we were open, and she knew by my demeanor, like something has changed. Like this is not going to go the way I want it to, you know? I think that our relationship it was very different, right? Like you were watching the person for almost 10 years of your life just deteriorate. And she's sleeping all of the time, right? She's just struggling to do anything normal.
How are your guys' conversations?
Yeah.
You know, like when you sit down and talk about, hey, when you get better, we're going to go to Disney. And I can't wait until what's your son's name?
Riley.
I can't wait till you get better and get to see Riley go to kindergarten and grow up and go to prom and all those things. Or like how were the conversations that you guys had?
Yeah. She, up until the day before she passed, she had giant plans. We got the news that she was going to be put on hospice on our 10th anniversary. Happy anniversary, right? And even in that, she loved this band called 311.
Yeah.
She saw them 62 times in her life. It's wild.
I don't know the band 311, but one person seeing them 62 times has to be near the top.
No, there are.
Are they like cult following?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like people in the hundreds. We have friends they have traveled all 50 states to go see them, like one show in every state. Like it's wild. They're a really big band from the 90s. They still are putting out music. They're like all-time leaderboard of the band sticking together. It's the 4 original members, or 5 members, excuse me.
Good for them.
They do a cruise on 3/11 day, March 11th. She's in hospice and is home hospice, but she's talking to the hospice company about how she can go on this cruise. I'm not kidding.
We can do that.
We can do that. And I'm just like, this is a terrible idea. And she's dreaming about you go get remarried, like a
renew your
renewal.
vow. Yeah, renewing your vows. Yeah.
So she's talking about that. We're going to do that. And like, we've got to go get our passports. And like, she's just dreaming of all of the things she could do.
Yeah.
And she had no idea. I'm very thankful for now is at one point, probably about 6 months before she passed, we're sitting watching TV and she just pauses it and says, I want you to get remarried. I was very not ready for that conversation, as you can imagine.
Yeah, man.
And she was like, I need you to promise me a couple of things. Whoever it is.
Dude.
It's heavy. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be.
Yeah.
This is what this room was built for.
Yeah.
Like these conversations, man, like the way that you are carrying on and sharing Amanda's story is incredible.
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate you being so vulnerable here. So you sit down and you have this conversation with Amanda, and she says, I want you to get remarried.
Yeah. And she says, whoever this person is has to love our son like he is hers. And she says, he's not allowed to watch Harry Potter until you have read the books.
Yes.
Yep.
Shout out.
Shout out. And don't raise an asshole. That's it. Those are my requirements.
So you pick up the Sorcerer's Stone and start reading,
That's
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, can we just say the level of selflessness that it takes to lead with that? I can't imagine being put into her shoes and having to do that and having to look you in the eyes and say that. Because like the selfish nature of the normal human being is like, no one will ever love anyone the way that I do. Like no one can replace me. Like, don't ever get remarried because you would and I just think that her taking the initiative and having that conversation speaks volumes about her character.
I agree. And
how do you respond to that?
I don't need to have this conversation. We're going to be fine, and I think I knew it wouldn't be fine. And like I said, now I appreciate that we had that conversation.
Yeah, it's a tough balance when you're dealing with a terminal illness.
Yes.
Because you don't want to admit defeat.
Yep.
And sometimes that can keep you from having impactful conversations. Yeah. Personal example.
Yeah.
When my mom got diagnosed, I gave her a blank notebook.
Yeah.
And I was like, document your journey and like share your prophetic wisdom of life. Sure. And imagine that, imagine someone just gave you a piece of paper and said, tell me everything there is to know about you and all of your best advice for life. Like that's so heavy.
Yes.
It's so out there, you know, like you could write anything. So like, and as the cancer progressed and moved into her brain, like it became hard to put words and sentences together. Yeah. And so but I didn't check in on it. I didn't like, hey, how are things going with your journal? And like, there's some really good stuff in it today, but there's also like, I say like, we had spaghetti for dinner last night and it wasn't very good. And I'm like, not really the prophetic wisdom I was hoping for. It's a regret of mine. I wish I would have just sat there and said like, what is your advice for this? Yeah. Or like, what do you think about this? And like actually had those conversations versus just thinking, like being so afraid to talk about the legacy piece of it that we never had those conversations and we never get to have those conversations now. Right. So I think that's a delicate balance, you know, of like, how do you talk about what happens if the worst happens without admitting defeat? Yep. You know, like, I don't know the right answer to that, listeners out there, but it's just something to think about.
Yep. Agreed. So.
Sorry, back into this.
Yes.
You guys are, it's March, it's 3/11.
She's put in a hospice January 24th, 2019.
Okay.
She dies February 5th.
Oh, okay. Yep. So we don't make it to 3/11 day.
We don't.
Okay. Put into hospital January what?
24th, our 10th wedding anniversary.
That's your 10th wedding anniversary. Yep. She goes into hospice. Yep. And at this point, how old is your son?
He had just turned 4.
How do you have the conversation with your 4-year-old son that his mom is going into hospice?
Amazingly, the hospice group has some social workers. It might be the right term, but they actually came and were present to have that conversation with our son. You know, when she was in the last week or so, like they would come to the house and all his family were together. And
how like extended family?
Her parents, her parents are divorced, so remarried, and brother, you know, all of that kind of around. Yeah. And a person comes in and just shares with our son that basically mom's body has stopped working and that at some point soon she's going to die.
How does he respond?
So at this age, it's very hard for kids to process this. And so it's like, oh, okay. And then he disappears and goes play.
Yeah.
Then he comes back 20 minutes later. I have a question. Then he disappears for 2 hours and comes back and I have another question, right? And so that's how their brains just process at that age. Someone in the room said, Mommy's going to sleep. And we had to immediately shut that down because I don't need a 4-year-old terrified to go to sleep that he will never wake up again.
Yeah.
And so like you have to be raw. You have to just say
and
the
like,
word
yeah,
die, death. That has to come out.
which is like hard because I'm sure whoever, you know, says that is like, that's well intentioned, you know, like so and so is going on to their eternal sleep, and it's like, well, hold on, we don't. There's just so many layers to that.
Yeah.
What was the harder conversation from like an emotional experience? I'm thinking of like, oh my gosh, I don't know.
Yeah. I think my son is the one.
Yeah.
Because when I told him on February 6th, like the cry was like I broke his bone, right? It was a physical, deep, raw cry, you know, and six years later, almost 7 years later, like it still gets me, you know?
Yeah.
I don't remember the conversation with the doctor. I know it happened. I don't remember the details. I don't remember how I felt.
Yeah. You almost like blacked out.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But like this one
And
crushed me.
I feel like it's probably different too when you're on the receiving end versus the delivering end.
Yes.
And truthfully, it's like, I'm sure your son's raw reaction is honestly what your raw reaction was. Like, you just are older and, you know, like it's probably not as, it's probably not frowned upon, but like, you know, you just like keep it together a little bit there. But like, that's probably internally how you feel as well. And, you know, wow. Yeah. So February 6th?
Yes.
That was the day?
February 5th, but he stayed over at a friend's house that night because she basically was unconscious for the last 2 days. And so we knew there was a nurse that it was coming, and they're like, it's going to be very soon.
That last week that you guys got to spend together.
Yeah.
So she went into hospice on the 24th.
Mm-hmm.
So about almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Take me through just emotionally, like when you come to terms that things are going to end.
It was a lot of just hard emotion of, you know, like she couldn't walk. Like her body was so weak and in so much pain that she could not walk to the bathroom.
Yeah.
She did not want to eat, right? And she just was sleeping 22 hours a day, right? And it's just like out.
Yeah.
And so you just sit there, and we had a lot of family that came around, like local family, did the dishes, brought us food, cooked us dinner, like whatever. And they were fantastic and also crazy annoying because, right? Like I just want my house and I just want happiness again, right? And it's just chaos.
My statement was, you would have thought, so this is rural northern Indiana, where I'm from. You would have thought that desserts cured cancer. Like it was a long processional train of like peach cobbler and cinnamon roll. And like you would, like Midwestern moms, grandmas all believe that desserts cure cancer. I gained like 15 pounds. Like, love them all. Yeah. I appreciate and lasagnas. Oh,
there you go.
Lasagna. There you go. Come on, full circle.
And I shared with a lot of her friends, like, this is it. And so friends were just coming by in droves of like saying goodbye, final hugs. Yeah, man. You know, people flying in like in the last month because everybody knew, right? Yeah. And they didn't know when the day was going to be, but everybody knew it was soon.
Through that whole journey, you said 16 months, I believe. What was the biggest lesson that you learned from Amanda's battle with cancer?
I learned and now reflect a lot that we do only have a limited time, and we should do all of the things, right? Like Amanda always wanted to do everything, and it drove me crazy. But she lived 80 years, right?
Hell yeah.
In 36.
Hell yeah.
Oh my gosh, we got to do this and the laundry pile and like, no, just go experience, go make those memories, because you don't know how long.
How much time do we waste on the couch, or do we just dick around and not actually go and do the things that we say we want. And sometimes, you might want to do that,
Yes.
But it's like, if you have things on your list that you want to go and do, like, stop convincing yourself all the reason that it's not the right time to go do it and start figuring out how to make it the right time.
Yep.
You said the biggest lesson that you learned was go and do it. Live life. You don't know how much time you have. You need to get out there and you need to live life. And I think that anyone who's experienced death at a young age, whether obviously for you it's a spouse, like death is meant to be, it feels like experienced when you're old.
Yes.
And so I always find that people who face that early in life just find this deeper level of motivation to do insanely incredible things, such as this journey with Ketchup to Cancer.
Yeah.
If you've been hunting for a brunch spot that understands food allergies and has bold flavors, look no further than Fire and Ice Cafe in Indianapolis. This hidden gem serves up European-inspired dishes that are entirely gluten-free. They're also completely free from peanuts, tree nuts, soy, sesame, fish, and crustaceans. We're talking biscuits, sandwiches, crepes, falafel bowls, pastries, and of course, all your favorite brunch drinks, crafted with serious care and a whole lot of flavor. Whether you've got food restrictions or just interested in great taste, this place is a must visit. Seriously, I don't have dietary restrictions, but the food actually rocks here. You definitely need to check it out. Grab your brunch crew and head to Fire and Ice Cafe at 6211 Allisonville Road, and your taste buds are gonna thank you. So talk to me about how you channeled pain to fight against cancer.
I've struggled with my weight for most of my adult life. I've often focused on other people and not myself. It's, oh, she's pregnant, let's go get milkshakes. Well, if I'm getting milkshakes, I need to get a milkshake too, obviously, right? And so I had come to accept in my life that I was going to be the guy that was going to put on 10 pounds every year, and that's just going to be my life. And one day I will be ginormous, and it is what it is, right? And February 5th happens. I lose Amanda.
Yeah. How big are you?
At my biggest, I was 276.
Okay.
So big dude.
Large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not small.
Not small. Okay.
Not small. And so I realized my son shouldn't lose another parent because I can't take care of myself.
Like, when did that realization come?
This probably May. So a couple months after she passed, right?
Okay. I would say like rather quick.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I think that is such a good, obviously it's a good realization to have,
Right.
Duh, Nate. But like, due to no one's choices, your son lost his mom.
Mm-hmm.
This would not be due to no one's choices. This would be due to your choices.
Yep.
Like, think about us internally, me, myself today, of all the ways that I look into the mirror and I say like, oh, it's not like, I just accept it. 10 pounds a year. Like, come on, it's all right.
Yeah.
Like that's so, like, you deserve that. Or like, you're just a little bit nice to ourselves. And this is not me saying don't ever be nice to yourself, but like, I think you gotta be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And so it took you 2 months,
Yep.
which is, I think, a fantastic turnaround time to like look in the mirror and say, hey, we're gonna make a change.
Yeah.
So what was the conversation you had with yourself?
I looked back at pictures. I realized I was not in many. I didn't want to be in a picture with Amanda and our son because I was not happy with how I looked, how I felt about myself. And now I missed out on all of the memories, all the videos together, all of those things. And I didn't want that for our son, right? I needed to make that change.
Yeah.
And so one of my buddies went to this gym here in Indy called Exercise Inc. It's wild. It's a 20-minute workout once a week. It is slow movement, 5 machines, no more than 3 minutes per machine, slow 10 seconds up, 10 seconds back, and it's activating your muscles like the whole time. As a single parent, it's like, I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't know what I'm doing. I can find 20 minutes a week.
Yeah. And I think that is so spectacular to get going.
Yeah.
Because like too often people like overcap. It's like, okay, now I'm David Goggins and I'm
Right.
going to go crazy. And they make it like 2 days and they wake up and they're like, this shit's hard.
Yes.
I quit. Like, this is what it takes to be healthy and fit. Count me out.
Yes.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
But 20 minutes a week.
I can find 20 minutes a week for myself, you know, and so I decided this is the time to start investing in myself. And so 20 minutes a week, I've been going there 6 years now. And it's amazing. Like, I felt like I could pick up my son better, easier. Things didn't hurt as much. Like, I was making notable change. Weight was falling off. And part of their program is they have you make a little change each week. So, you know, this week it's drink 4 cups of water. This week it's, you know, eat 2 servings of vegetables, right? It's just little tiny changes.
Yeah.
And it stopped being so overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, I've described it before. It was Everest for me. Like, losing weight was Everest. I had to climb that thing and it was so daunting. Yeah. But if you're just making little tiny changes, they add up over time.
Absolutely.
I'm doing that. And then little thing called the pandemic hits and I've stopped going to the gym. I do some virtual workouts. It just doesn't feel the same. My son, his daycare has what they think is a case of COVID in early March. And I'm like panicked. Like, I'm unhealthy. I'm way overweight. I need to pull my son out of this thing. Like, people who are overweight are, you know, impacted more statistically on this thing. Like, I'm pulling him out. So I pulled him out and he and I were at home basically together for 100 and some odd days.
He's like 5 at this time?
Yeah. Very minimal contact, right? You know, some social distancing, grocery pickups. You're just like, I cannot expose myself to this because, again, he should not lose another parent. And so this is like a panic, kind of low-key panic of like, okay, well, then as you can imagine, being at home for 100 days with a 5-year-old son.
What could go wrong?
Right. I was going crazy. And so July 3rd of 2020, I signed up for the 500 Festival's 500-mile challenge. Shout out to them. I walked 500 miles over the course of 102 days. I figured out that if I kept up at a certain number of miles per day, I could finish on my birthday. And how big of a difference that would be for my life of just being able to, like, 2019, Alex would never have gotten off the couch. And now I've just completed 500 miles. Like, that's incredible. And if I can walk, maybe I can run. Like, that's a wild idea. I've never been able to run, you know, since I was a little kid. That's just not something I could physically bring myself to do. And so I spent most of my 500 miles at Eagle Creek and did hiking.
You're walking or running them?
Walking. Then I start running. Under Armour has a 100-mile challenge. So I sign up and do that. And this is late November, early December 2020.
How far was your first run?
Probably a mile. Like, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know, being able to, it was a lot of like, okay, I'm going to run for a minute, walk for a minute, run for 2 minutes, walk for 2 minutes, right? And it's kind of interval. Yeah. And then when I was able to actually physically run a mile, what if I can do 2? What if I can do a 5K, right? It was just this wild, like, what if? I'd always dreamed to run the mini. I remember growing up how big it was and like this great, fantastic experience. And there's no way I'm never going to be able to do that. Yeah, that's a silly dream. So fast forward a whole bunch. I run a virtual mini. I realized
First one's virtual.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, it's so good.
That's even harder, I would say. I think it's easier to run at like an in-person race. We have the fans and like go out there just like you just went out and ran 13.1.
Yeah, in my neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yes, so good.
Heck yeah.
Well, so I tried to do intentional things. And so on the anniversary of Amanda's passing on February 5th, the first year I went to New York and saw like a Broadway play and went to this restaurant we'd always wanted to go to. And on the second year, I was in this journey, and like a week before, I ran 10 miles and felt good. And so I ran a half marathon on February 5th in the ice, freezing cold. That's right.
My dude.
Yeah. And,
That's sick.
and so I signed up for the mini. I'm like, this is going to be fantastic. So cool. It's virtual. It's my PR, best run I've ever had. It was awesome. And then I start running the Run 317 series. Grabs my attention. So I start running those. And then I sign up for the mini in 23, and I get to run in person. I get to run on the track, and like I've been a season ticket holder, or go to the 500 for many years now. And so it's just very cool and iconic. And then I say to myself, well, what if I could run a marathon? And that was completely wild. This idea of a guy just two and a half years ago who would never get off the couch is now looking to dream big and run a marathon. So I run Indy Monumental. It was my first race. I had an injury along the way, and so the longest run I'd ever done was a half.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you still towed the line?
I did it. And every step, once we got past Broad Ripple Avenue, every step was the longest I'd ever run in my life.
And that backside through, Riverside Park.
Yes.
That backside of that race is tough.
Yes. And we get to Newfields, and my now fiance and my son are there, and I wave them. He's cheering, all excited, and I wave past, and I turn around, and I get the biggest hug from that kid, and it was everything I needed to get me through.
Better than any gel.
Yes,
totally. Better than the Gatorade.
Yep.
Oh,
well,
man.
And because I'd never run more than a half, I didn't understand fueling. So I'm like starving. My body is in shock. Right?
Dude, yeah, that's like, you're like, oh, this is just a myth, whatever. And it's like, no, it's not a myth at all. Like, oh, yeah.
It was rough. Wow. So I finish, come around the bend and finish Indy. And my son is there cheering. And again, my now fiance said, well, hey, congratulations. Now you know what it was like for next time. Next time? What do you mean next time? I'm never doing that again. And she likes to retell the story that about 6 days later, I started looking at more races.
I think that's the usual. It's like, at first you're like, oh yeah, this sucks. Like, blah, blah. And then you're like, yeah. So to get that itch again, you're like,
yeah.
I'll do another one.
I'll do another one. And then I said, I want to do all of the 6 major marathons, which is New York, Boston, Chicago, London, Berlin, and Tokyo. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to become what's known as a 6-star finisher.
Hell yeah.
And for me to do this, though, I need it to mean something a little more. And so I started a journey as a charity marathoner, and committed with St. Jude as my primary charity, and committed to $6,000 to run the New York City Marathon. And that was an incredible experience, being able to run the city, the 5 boroughs, raise all this money, is fantastic. And then I wanted to run Boston. And mind you, I'm 38 at this point. I decide, my birthday is next month. At this point, I'm going to run the 3 US majors in a year. I'm not a super fast runner. So to run Boston, you've got to run like a 3-hour marathon. So that's 652 miles for 26.2 miles. I'm nowhere close to that.
Yeah, me either.
So the only way to get into Boston is charity. And those commitments are humongous.
Yeah. Well, what's Boston's?
Boston's $10,000 to $15,000 fundraising.
Because New York's over 6 or over 5.
It depends on the charity. For me, it was 6 with,
and then it's 10 to 15 for Boston. And then how much is Chicago?
3,500.
Okay.
A lot less, but
okay.
Yeah. So
that's still in 1 year though. That's like over almost 25 grand.
Yes. In 11 months.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So I start this journey. I have an amazing group of human beings that are just supporting and donating.
Yeah.
And I I crush the New York goal. I get there. St. Jude doesn't have any bibs for Boston because they change. It goes from one sponsor to another. St. Jude's out. So I like start panicking. I go apply to 5 different charities. I do 3 different interviews. Like it's a big deal to get spots into these majors because charities only have certain number of bibs. You know,
okay.
Yeah. So like New York, 50,000 runners, let's say.
How many of them are qualified and how many of them are fundraisers?
All of them have an element of both in a qualifier or a charity entry, you know? So like for New York, maybe it's 10,000 charity runners.
Okay. Yeah. 40,000 runners.
Yes.
Not saying that you're not a runner, but a charity runner. Yeah.
Yeah. And some of those are lottery, right? There was 1.1 million people that applied for London this last year.
Yeah, I think Berlin was high too. Like I applied for Berlin, did not get in.
Oh no.
But it's like whatever. One day.
I'm
just trying to stay consistent. One day I'll be a qualifier. If I just keep my sub 4 hour marathon, I'll be like a 60-year-old and then finally get in.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
So I do those.
So what charity do you end up with for Boston?
Yeah. So Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, they actually have a focus in on colorectal cancer. They're Boston local. They're fantastic charity.
You have to like interview to get
application, interview process, second interview. Like it's a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, part of me is just trying to manifest all of this in
1 year.
In 1 year.
Like it's not like I feel like the average person like does one of those a year, not all 3 in 1 year.
Yeah. I think my fiance could not have rolled her eyes more when I was like, this is what I'm doing. And she's like, oh, okay, we're in
Heck yeah.
hard.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Where did Ketchup to Cancer come from?
Yeah. So we, after doing those 3, I start fundraising for Berlin, and my friends and family are tapped out. I've raised $30,000 at this point over 11 months. They're done. Like I'm not getting anything. I've got a $6,200 commitment for Berlin, and I'm panicking.
Yeah.
And so about a year before, my fiance and I were at the Brownsburg July 4th parade.
Yeah.
It was raining and crummy, and she swore she saw somebody giving out ketchup packets at the parade, and we're like, oh, that'd be really funny. It was sweet tarts, but it looked really funny, and there were always these random businesses and stuff in it, and we're like, I don't know, that would be funny to do. So I put that idea in the back of my head, and in June of this year, I look it up, and it's a $50 donation is all it takes to get into the parade. It's like $50. I can donate $50.
Yeah.
And hand out ketchup packets. That'd be like really funny. And I'm out mowing the lawn. I'm like, how can I?
Wait, just for like the heck of it.
Just for the heck of it.
You're, okay, I'll just donate $50 and hand out ketchup packets because it would be funny.
Because it'd be funny.
Okay, respect. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Right? Why not?
Easy money.
Easy. So I was like, how can I utilize this to start to fundraise? How can I catch attention? How can I like catch up to cancer? And I stop the mower and I run inside and I just say to Lindsay, catch up to cancer. And she looks at me like, what? And I said, catch up to cancer. And then it clicks. Oh man, catch up to cancer. That's how we hand out these ketchup packets, and we actually use a condiment for a cure.
Yeah.
Right? And it's something that's silly enough and ridiculous enough, and I hate ketchup. But I hate cancer more. And I buy 5,000 Red Gold ketchup packets. 5,000 packets. They're like $20 for 1,000. Okay. I buy some stickers. I create a website. I QR code every hand sticker, 5,000 ketchup packets. And we do this parade, and we hand out 5,000 ketchup packets on July 4th.
Are you throwing them or like?
Well, throw to the people's feet.
There you go. Yeah.
And amazingly, I announced this. I raised $1,100 in 2 days. There is something here.
So did you QR code?
Yep.
And then you tell the story on your website?
Yes.
And then you're like, now I'm running. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I'm running the Berlin Marathon, raising $6,200. And I realize I'm actually, if I'm doing London and Tokyo, and I know what St. Jude's commitments for both of those are 10,000, I'm going to raise the marathon distance. I'm going to raise $26,200 for the kids at St. Jude.
Wait, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy how that works out.
Right?
26.2. Yeah.
So that's it. I'm going to start using Ketchup
Yeah.
to start a movement because I hate ketchup,
Yeah.
but I hate cancer more. And
Amen.
Let's do it.
You have 3 points of the star thus far.
So I raised the 6,200 for Berlin. Literally, as I was crossing the finish line, somebody made that last donation to put me over the top. I'm about $3,000.
So you just ran Berlin?
Yes, in September.
No way.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was my hardest race experience. It was 81 degrees when I crossed the start line. It was rough, but the experience of being able to go and the weekend, it was fantastic. I would not change it.
Okay. So we got the 6,200 for that one.
Yep.
Now we're on to 10K
Yep.
for London by April.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're about 4,000 in at this point.
If people want to support this,
On Instagram at Ketchup to Cancer, Ketchup TO Cancer, and also ketchuptocancer.com. And that website links.
that's a fire website.
Thanks, bro.
Who made this?
Me.
That's really good.
Yeah, thank you.
Like usually I feel like people's like personal websites are not that good. This is a really good website.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. 6,200 for Berlin, 10,000 for London, and you're going to round it out with 10,000 for Tokyo.
Yep.
These three all go to St. Jude?
Yes.
And this is a really interesting part about St. Jude, right?
Yeah.
Is that I believe like no families get bills.
Yes.
Right? Or how's that? I don't know the official thing there, but I know it's something like that.
No family ever receives a bill for treatment, housing, travel, food, nothing.
That's crazy.
They take the worst pediatric patients. They have a research wing that they are doing fantastic things for cancer research and able to, when it was started in 1962, the survival rate of a certain form of leukemia was like 10%, and now it's over 80%. There's this different one that's nearing 94% survival rate because of the research that they're doing.
Yeah.
And, as an aside, those first 2 weeks we talked about, we received a $400,000 bill.
$400,000?
Yeah.
For what?
That was the PET scan, that was the surgery, the colonoscopy, right? Like all of those initial stuff, $400,000. And I didn't know what to do, right?
Wait, what do you do?
We just hoped our insurance would help.
$400,000?
$400,000. And that's why St. Jude's mission to make sure no family receives a bill is so important to me, because you don't need that stress. You should focus on what's important, and that's your kid fighting cancer.
2 weeks into this journey.
Yeah.
400 racks? Yeah. Holy smokes.
Each chemo was almost $30,000, like each treatment.
And obviously like it goes through insurance and like a lot of that gets like, but I mean, even the initial shock of just like, oh my gosh, there's a $400,000 bill here. Like that's just extra stress.
Yes.
In a time where that's just not what you need.
No, not at all.
Alex, man, what a heck of a journey.
Thank you.
Just openness to talk about a very tough topic, I think, is commendable. I do want to, as we're kind of closing out this, and then we'll wrap up with some fun Indiana questions, but how do you talk to your son about his mom?
Unfortunately, he was young enough that he doesn't remember her much,
Yeah.
And so it's having the pictures, taking the videos, whether you think you look gorgeous, fantastic, stunning, or you look like a total bum, right, in sweatpants, like take the pictures, because someday that's all you're going to have left.
Yeah.
And so I think having those memories and understanding that, it's okay to miss mom. It's okay to cry. It's okay. We like to call them button days in our house. There's someone described shortly after she passed that grief is like a box, a ball, and a button. And when the traumatic event happens, that ball is just pressing on that button. And as time passes, the ball gets smaller and starts bouncing around.
Oh, yeah.
And eventually it does hit that button.
Yeah.
And so whenever we're having a tough day, like, and grief is striking,
Yeah.
it's button day. And so being able to understand and talk about those and communicate is something important. And then I also tell my son that you have the power to hurt and you have the power to lift up. And doing stuff to inspire, doing stuff to create good in the world is what Amanda would have wanted.
Man, very powerful.
Yeah.
I think that is a hard conversation that I'm sure even if one person out there is in a similar circumstance or scenario to you all and is having trouble talking to their child or just like wants to know how they can handle that, I think that's such great advice, man.
I also like to say that forward is a pace. It was climbing Everest to get off the couch, but just taking that first step can make a difference. And obviously in running, some days are hard runs, and just walking, just moving is enough that day.
Yeah, they're not all PRs.
No, they're not.
Yeah, if there was one thing that people could take away from Amanda's story and learn from you and her and everything you guys have been through, what would that be?
You never know who's on your sidelines. And that matters in running, on race days or also in our lives. You don't know who's watching, who's paying attention, who's willing to show up if you just ask for help. And there are people in my journey that have donated that I haven't talked to in 30 years.
That's a long time.
But you never know who you're inspiring or tearing down with your words. And you have the opportunity to lift people up. And so the people that showed up for me during Amanda's 16 months and for the 6 years afterwards, I'm eternally grateful to them. And there are people in your lives, every listener here, there are people that are willing to show up if you just ask for help.
This has been an incredible episode.
Thank you.
One that's obviously a cause that's unfortunately close to my heart as well. I also don't really like ketchup, but I really don't like cancer.
Yeah.
Great tagline.
Thank you.
I encourage people to go check out Ketchup to TO cancer.com. We got 16 grand left to go to get through these last two. I encourage people to follow Alex on Instagram. Just there needs to be more people out there putting out uplifting content into the world. I think that everything you put out is so great.
Thank you.
Just inspiring, man. Like, I think that the way in which you've handled the cards that were dealt to you is incredible. Like, one piece that I've just learned is, man, cancer is really, 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 really hard for the person that's diagnosed, and it's still hard for the people that are the closest to them.
Yeah.
And it's just a different hard.
It is.
And I think using that experience and turning that into a positive and a way to impact others is just so stinking commendable, man. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing. We are going to round it out with some
Can't wait.
Indiana questions. We're going to maybe bring it back up a little bit.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Again, man, I loved hearing your story, and I appreciate you, being vulnerable and sharing. Questions all around the state of Indiana. First question is brought to you by our friends at JC Hart. They're a leader in creating enjoyable living experiences at apartment communities all across Indiana and beyond. Check them out at homeisjchart.com. My question for you, Alex, why do you call Indiana home?
I love so much about Indiana. I live on the west side. I have access to literally anything I want to do. Concerts, Broadway shows, sports, an amazing culinary scene here in Indianapolis. Like, Indy feels like home. Like I've not always been a Hoosier. You know, I've been here for 30 years, and it means so much to be here. Schools are great. We have a village, and not just your local neighborhoods, right? It's the indie community from running communities, etc. It's fantastic.
Best place to run in Indiana.
Eagle Creek is kind of my default. That's where I've spent a lot of my miles. I do a lot in my neighborhood though, so don't have a ton of experience.
Yeah.
Monon is really cool.
Yeah.
It's not close to where I am, but it's fantastic.
I think I'd say Eagle Creek for sure.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff out there. Are you a trail runner?
A little bit. I dabble.
Okay, there we go. One tip you'd give to someone that wants to start running.
It doesn't matter your pace, just taking the step. I have logged 4,200 miles all because I started walking. You don't have to go run.
Yeah. I think that everyone thinks that when they start running, it has to be like the gym class mile.
Yes.
Where you're like dying
All
at the end
out.
of and it's like, no, my favorite runs are just like a nice conversation pace with,
Yep.
and it's a great way to, I don't know, nowadays I like catch up with friends while we run.
Yeah.
And catch up. Get that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. And hang out, you
Yeah.
know, and it's like we go out early in the morning because, you know, no one's busy at 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
Let's go out, let's talk, let's chat, and let's get some miles in.
Yeah.
It's like,
Love it.
I think it's fun. What's on the playlist when you're running a race?
Well, your pod, obviously.
Yeah, there we go. Come on.
Yeah, I listen actually to a lot of podcasts because I tend to be in my head a lot when I run, and so just having the conversation helps keep me focused in on what I'm doing and not any like negative talk like this hurts or I'm going too slow or not focused in on that. But
Yeah.
I have a race playlist that's like 6.5 hours long of just like random.
What's the
random
song
stuff.
that just gets you freaking going?
At the start of every race, there's the Spider-Man album from
Oh yeah.
the like animated Spider-Man from a couple years ago. There's Who's Here to Start a Riot. That
Let's
is like
go.
my start line song.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. I love it. Yeah, I think it depends on like if I'm going on a slow run,
Yep.
or like I'm just like out here hanging, like I can go and put on like a podcast or a book. I'm
Yep.
really into books now.
Okay.
But if it's like I'm ready to rock, it's like I gotta have something that has like a good. I like time my feet up with the beat, and I'm like,
I love that.
what is the dream with Ketchup to Cancer? What's the long-term goal and strategy, or not even strategy? What's just the long-term vision for Ketchup to Cancer?
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited to share. This is the first time I've publicly said it. I now have an Indiana nonprofit corporation called Ketchup to Cancer, and I realize my marathon journey is done after Tokyo. And I think there's something here. I think charity runners get a bad rep in running a lot of times. I think they are doing fantastic things for the world. And so my goal is to lift up charity runners, help them fundraise, hit their big goals and their dreams. And if I spill some ketchup along the way, so be it.
I love it. I love it. Congrats
Thank
on
you.
officially having a nonprofit organization here in Indiana. I think that's awesome. And yeah, I think it's like you think of these campaigns and it's like you get your 6 points
Yeah.
and then help others. Like, I think both. I think running for a purpose is just, it's like a match made in heaven. Like
Yeah.
every runner is running for some sort of purpose.
Yeah.
Like no one, very few people are just going out there for just love of the game. A lot of people are, whether you're getting through something or it helps you feel better, like there's always a purpose around it. And no, not everyone is, Boston qualifier fast.
Right.
But I think tying a purpose to the reason why you're running, it just like is such a natural thing. So I love it. I think it's so smart, man. And I just think it's making a huge, huge impact for St. Jude right now.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
yeah, soon to be more families, and hopefully this is it. This is one of the big fundraising arms that helps eradicate freaking cancer.
I hope so.
All right, final 3 questions that we ask everyone who comes on the show. First, what's something the world needs to know about Indiana?
I think people sleep on our culinary scene here. I am wildly impressed with the all of the restaurants that we have in Indianapolis area. We've got a Gordon Ramsay restaurant in down near Louisville. I had no idea. It's in a casino down there.
Yeah.
And I think, I really enjoy like the Michelin star shows and all of that high level culinary stuff. And I think Michelin needs to check out Indy.
Come on now. I agree. All right. This is your chance to shed some light on a part. I mean, one you just did. I had no idea that was a Gordon Ramsay steakhouse. That's pretty cool. But what is a hidden gem in Indiana?
Eagle Creek State Park is one of my favorite places here.
It's actually not a state park. It's a city park.
It's a city park.
One of the nation's largest city parks.
Huh.
Eagle Creek Park.
Eagle Creek. There
Operated by Indy Parks and Rec. It is a true gem of a city park for sure.
Yes. I've logged more than 1,000 miles walking those trails and running them. And it is, we do family pictures there. I love Eagle Creek and am so glad that it's there and accessible to people, and the trails are well maintained, and it's a great place.
Amen. All right. Finally, this is where we get guest recommendations and get to learn about other people out there doing inspiring things. Who's a Hoosier we need to keep on our radar? Someone who's doing big things.
Yeah. So I have two. The Bo and the team at Exercise Inc., they are doing fantastic work helping people of all ages get stronger. And they're doing that with 20-minute workouts once a week. And I cannot speak highly enough about them. And second, we obviously spent a lot of time talking about healthcare. The company I work for, Zotec Partners, the leadership there, Corey Law, Tom Cavanaugh, I'm in product. They care about the healthcare experience for patients. And so I'm excited that I get to work there and help make that journey a little better for people receiving a bill.
Medical billing, baby. Zotec
That's
Partners.
amazing.
Yeah. Up off 31?
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. We'll keep them on your radar. They're doing, I was an OR fellow, so there's been tons of OR fellows that have come through Zotec.
Nice.
Alex, it has been a pleasure to share the microphone with you and learn about you and Amanda's journey, that battle with cancer. I think that far too many people are going to resonate with this, which is good that they're going to resonate, but unfortunate that people still, have to deal with that. But I think that the way that you share is so inspiring, man. And I think that even if it's one person at a time, keep going. Even me, I'm fired up coming out of this conversation and getting to talk to someone else who's been close to cancer and has been affected by it. You help me. And I'm inspired to continue to talk about my mom's journey and everything there because I got to spend time with you today. Yeah. So I appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
This episode was largely about the cancer journey, but then it's on the other side, your fitness journey is also incredible. Just take a step. Perfection is the enemy of progress.
Mm-hmm.
How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time?
100%.
Amen, man. So I appreciate it. It was a pleasure to get to hang out with you and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're looking to start a podcast or take your content to the next level, click the link in the description to see all my gear recommendations at Sweetwater. If you want a behind-the-scenes look at everything we're doing across the state, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of what makes the Hoosier State great. We'll see you next time here on Get In.